Hello, mysterious person behind the screen. I have just got out of seeing Spider-Man 2.1 in the cinema, which is a sentence that I never thought I would say. I mean, for starters, I never thought that we'd have a 4K version of Spider-Man 2.1 to begin with. I kind of thought that that was just something that would have been completely forgotten about by Sony, and the theatrical cut was the way forward, you know, and that's the only version that we'd ever see in 4K. So that's mad in and of itself, and I definitely never thought that we'd see 2.1 get a cinema release, a theatrical release of 2.1. What wacky world is this? I still kind of can't believe that I've just watched that version of the film in the cinema. So I wanted to do a little video because obviously my most popular video on my channel is the 2.1 video. I still get comments on that 4 years later. In fact, I've got a couple now coming out of the cinema. Checking my phone notifications, you know, there's a couple on there now. And whilst that video is 4 years old, and since making that, you know, I have an editing job full time, and I would do so much of that differently now. I still cringe a little bit. So the audio mixing in that video is just like, turn the music down, dude. Like, oh Jesus. But anyway, it is my most popular video, so I thought I'd have a little vlog about my experience seeing 2.1 in the cinema, because it is a pretty big deal, you know. And I loved it. I mean, it's my favourite film. I've seen both versions of it, I mean, countless times now. But I haven't seen 2.1 in quite a few years, probably since I made that video, because the 4K set is how I watch the films, and on the 4K set that's currently out, as of recording this, you only get the theatrical cut. And I saw the trilogy re-release last year. It was the theatrical cut, and I'm not going to complain about that, because although that 2.1 was the version I grew up on, I mean, the theatrical version is a masterpiece. It's my favourite film of all time, like either version is. I'm not going to complain about seeing one version or the other, but to have now seen 2.1 in the cinema, I mean, I've got to say, I think it might be my preferred version of the film now. As I said in that video, the theatrical version, the pacing is so much better. But having now watched 2.1 for the first time in a long while, and not like analysing it, just sitting back and watching it, there's so much in it that really completes the film for me and makes it just a better experience, if that makes sense. My thoughts are kind of all over the place. Let's talk about the 4K master of it, because that's exciting, and I have thoughts about this. So there were rumours abound for a while that Sony are putting out a new 4K set of the films with new Dolby Vision grading. The 4K discs that are out currently are early 4K discs, were only done in HDR10, early in the format, within the first year of the format's life, and early 4K discs can be a little bit dodgy, and mostly those discs are fine, but, you know, the first one is far too bright, and 2 and 3 do have just instances where the brightness is just pushed a little too high, and the kind of subtleties in the image get a little bit lost. And but for the most part, the color grading on them is great. I've been happy with those 4K discs for years. They're pretty solid. But when rumors started flying about, you know, a regrade, I thought, okay, that's needed. They could do with an update now. And one of the strong rumors as well is that as part of that regrade is, you know, a 4K master of 2.1 is getting put on disc. And as of recording this, that has not been announced, but it exists. There's a 4K master of 2.1, and it looks bloody beautiful. The extended scenes, which always looked a bit different, and you know, as I say in that video I made 4 years back, the whole film used to have this kind of pink tint to it in the extended cut. And it's always looked a little cheap to me, and every time I see clips of it, I know straight away which version that clip is from, because it always looks so fucking pink. That's all gone. 2.1 now looks as good as the theatrical version, and the new scenes are seamless. There's no drop in quality. There's no sign that they've been added in later. The CGI looks better than it ever has, given that it was, you know, it was finished off for that cut. And I think that probably helped the sense that it's maybe my preferred version now, because it is so much more complete, because the scenes just don't stick out. They just look as good as the theatrical cut footage. The grain structure, it's a very filmic transfer, what I've just watched. Very, very filmic. And the grade was interesting. Teal. I'm not sure if anyone else has noticed this. So the teal grade is kind of something that does get applied to some catalogue titles on 4K. Some more than others. See the Batman and Batman Returns 4Ks for an example, where it's just too much and so out of place, and the grade on those two transfers are just, oh, it's teal overload, and I really dislike it. This isn't that, but there is more of a teal push. The shots that I noticed was what, you know, when Doc Ock looks at Rosie just before the experiment kicks off, and he does the whole power of the sun in the palm of my hand thing. He gives that lovely warm smile to his wife, and those two shots I was really like, oh, this is very teal. But it's not throughout the whole film, and it's not unbalanced. It still looks good. Like, it doesn't look too much. Hi car, your lights are very bright. It doesn't look unbalanced, it doesn't look unnatural, it looks good. And if this is an example of what a potential re-release on a 4K disc would look like, then I'm very impressed, and I'm very intrigued to see what the other two films would look like as well. I haven't had a chance to see them in the cinema this time around, but yeah, colour me intrigued. Colour me very intrigued. I was just really impressed with how it looked. I was really impressed with what they'd... I kind of thought that, oh, they're showing 2.1 in the cinema. It'll either be an upscale of the old master, or it will be the theatrical cut with kind of the new scenes inserted in their places, and they'll kind of stick out a little bit. But no, it was new master, and it was seamless, and it looked gorgeous. Yeah, I don't know what more I can say, really. It's my favourite film on the big screen, which is always a treat, and it's the version I grew up on in the cinema. What a thrill that was. And I really hope they do, release that on disc. And yeah, it might become my preferred version of the film if they do release it on disc. It might be my go-to version, because it looks stunning. Seeing those scenes kind of seamlessly integrated, compared to the DVD that I used for capture in my video, it just is night and day difference. It looks stunning, and I kind of couldn't believe that it had been given that love and that treatment. So there we go. Did you see Spider-Man 2.1 in the cinema? Did you see any of the others in the cinema, and did they look different to the 4K discs that currently exist? Because the differences stuck out to me massively. And I'm eagerly awaiting any updates if they do a re-release. So yeah, let me know your thoughts. This was just a quick little vlog. How did you like seeing Spider-Man 2.1 in the cinema? I am working on a video about the TV cut of Spider-Man 2 in a similar style, so yeah, stay tuned for that. And I'll see you in my next one. Take care now.